Now we have nearly 25%. So what is the share of failure? So although we have a lot of women in the councils, but the reality is that it's not success as we can, there is no real representation because the substantial representation is limited. So it's not only for the Sri Lanka, but also in the South Asian context, we have the problem regarding this substantial representation. So, what is the common barriers that we face? So, there's a four critical challenges I have identified. The one that about the manipulation of party nomination list. So, the party has sole power to nominate who is contesting, although they only make this in their nomination papers as a requirement. So, they strategically place their women in the unwinnable seats, although they have good voter base and they have some winnable account. And then the political dynasty, we talk about that. The proxy candidates, the most women, and they are coming from the political background. When I interviewed the women, the 85% of them have the strong political backgrounds, but they have this proxy candidate. It is the common thing in our local, the South Asian context. And then the institutional support. We put the women in the institution where the male dominance is prevalent. So we did not help them. So there is lack of training, we talk about in the morning, and also resources and mentorship. So this is common barriers that we are facing. And also our enforcement mechanisms, it is also fundamental that there are no consequence for non-compliance for our situation. So what we can do to make it success? What are success factors? So number one, the legal framework. We should have a strong legal framework. We can see in India and Nepal, they have constitutional feedback. But in Sri Lanka, our constitution, we do not have women put that quota system or other measures in our in the constitution. And the enforcement mechanism. There should be a ways that we have to enforce. Like maybe we can introduce the reserve seats or maybe specific wards for the women. And maybe we have some sanctions, strong sanctions should be there. Otherwise, it is not meaningful. And also the capacity building. We have skilled women who have born for lead. But unfortunately, because of this lack of training, because from the political parties or maybe other institutions, they have lack of skill development programs and also mentorship and support networks are lacking. So if there is these things, we can make them success. And also the direct election provisions. We should have the strong placement mandates because party, they have the main sole authority. So if we can have some alternate system like SIPA system. The SIPA system means like it is the balancing the male and female, like if the nomination seat is there, so the first name, if the first name is a man, then second name should be a female. So we can balance and we can put that the political influence of that, the put the women in unwinnable seats. Then, so briefly I explain the Indian experience. India has the strong background with its constitutional backing. So they introduced 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago in 1902 with the constitutional provisions, and they have 21 states, they have 50% of reservation seats for women. With that, because of this strong enforcement, election commission rejects, they have the sole authority and they have the power to non-compliance list. Because of this constitutional framework, they ensure the sustainability of this measure. And then the Nepal experience. They have the intersectional approach. So they have in 2015 the constitutional provisions, they have mandatory women's vote level. And also they have specific provisions for marginalized groups like Dalit women. So at least, and this is a specific one, at least the one woman should be in key executive positions. So in our countries, we have no such positions. So the woman should be a mayor or deputy mayor. And the results, we have 41 women in local government. And the innovation combines the gender quota with some ethnicity or caste consideration. So with this strong placement mechanism, they have some good reservations for the women. And so what we can do, the lessons that we can learn from Sri Lanka, we have many legislative loopholes. We should close these loopholes, otherwise it is not success. And then strong enforcement mechanism. I talk about what are the mechanisms that we should use. So it should be a clear placement mandates. Otherwise, party has manipulation, then they only put their women because of the requirement of the nomination list. Otherwise, they don't want to put the name of women. And our country, we lack that our system, we do not only use the legal base, but not in the constitution embedding. So if we can incorporate our system into the gender provision in a constitutional framework, maybe we can go somewhat and we have sustained this situation and this system. And the proxy candidate, can we address this proxy candidate? So it is the main problem, the political elites. So if we get the examples, our main women candidates, and maybe we have some politicians, but they are coming from the political families. So it is the problem that we have. So do we need to tackle this? Or they will, or they can make their own icons. Maybe that's the problem we have. So we should address, otherwise it is not the thing that we hope and we don't expect. We expect the qualified woman, but we do not expect the proxy woman to be there. And then the institutional support system. There should be a strong institutional support system. So the capacity building should be, because it is a male dominant area, the most women are newcomers. So there should be a pre-election trainings and leadership development courses, maybe technical skill workshops. And there should be a support infrastructures. The mentorship. Now we have some skilled women who have the experience because the first trainer period is over. So we can use some peer networks from these representatives. And also the resource. There should be a resource gap in the urban and rural areas. So we should think about that also. Then at the conclusion, in terms of historic one, and it is the first step and successful increase the women representation in Sri Lanka. But when considered the lived experience, their experience, and also the comparative analysis shows that it is not success. That is, we should have, otherwise, unless we should have robust enforced mechanisms and support, the loopholes are active and they prevent the substantial representation. So we can learn from our neighbors and we can apply. So finally, I could conclude, the challenge for us is to ensure that we are not just electing women, but we are truly empower them for the lead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nirul. Your hit the nail presentation. I would say it's up to the point. Let me open the floor for questions now.
Right. Thank you very much for your fascinating presentation. I really enjoyed it. And I fully agree with your arguments with regard to gender quota in Sri Lanka. And this is a suggestion, right? Because since you are interested in gender quota, you can look at this issue from a different perspective. Because you have presented the obstacles, legal, political, institutional obstacles, in relation to gender quota in Sri Lanka, drawing examples from other South Asian countries. So one suggestion is that you should go beyond South Asia, right? To compare the substantive representation of women under the gender quota in the advanced countries. Because in South Asian countries, we have been inculcating a same political culture, male-dominated political culture. Institutions are almost same, right? Institutional cultures are very much similar. So therefore, this comparison should go beyond South Asia to get a better understanding and comprehensive analysis. And the second suggestion is that we have concluded 2 elections under the mixed member proportional representative system for the local government in 2018 and 2025. But up to now, we don't have any analysis, evidence to show the effectiveness and limitations of the 25% gender quota in the local governance. We don't have any data. So therefore, I encourage you to do a study using some, randomly you select some local government authorities where women are active in some councils, where women are very weak. They are just, descriptive representation. So that kind of comparative study would also enable us to get the bigger picture of gender quota in the local government systems. That would enable us to advocate for gender quota for the provincial council and parliamentary elections using this evidence and lessons. Thank you very much.
That was a good comment. So we may consider this in the future.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Any more questions?
Okay, Madam, next question.
Thank you for the presentation. I just want to get one clarification regarding the constitutional provisions that you were referring to. So, as I understand that you were proposing to get a stronger constitutional safeguard for the women to enhance the women representation. So, are you suggesting something beyond Article 12.4, or are you suggesting to bring in a specific constitutional provision in enabling a particular quota? Is that what you are referring to?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much for the question. So the Constitution, it has that the fundamental right. Right is the gender equality is a fundamental right. So then consider the Indian situation. They have specific provision regarding this quota system or reserve seats. So that's why I'm talking, because we have only act. So the act can be repealed or maybe amend or change with the maybe majority of the parliament. So for the sustainer, maybe with that provisions in our fundamental rights, maybe we can incorporate election act is not that powerful. Maybe there is loopholes, as I say. So if there is something like that, because this is the first step that we are going for the good representation, substantial representation of women. So if we can have some constitutional things in the constitution, because it is not, maybe you cannot change it. So that's why I'm for, as a sustainable measure, if we can incorporate that into the constitution, that's why I'm thinking. Thank you.
Okay, any more?
Thank you very much for that very interesting presentation. I mean, you were, I think basically you were saying, yes, quotas are very important, but then, women have to be empowered and so on and so forth, which is very true. But one is why, don't you think we should look at the role of women in political parties? Because this is only about nomination, right? Do women get experience working in the political field, community work, etc., within the political parties? Because are the political party structures gender inclusive? Because here we are asking mainly male-dominated parties to nominate women, and they can be token women. That's number one. Secondly, is all lost, because if you look at the panchayat system of India, it was also weak at the beginning after the 33% quota was introduced. But today, I think it's seen as a great success. So how do you look at that? What can we learn from the panchayat system? Thank you.
Thank you, madam. So the internal democracy, the internal that gender in the political parties is very less. So that's why I think the game still is from male dominance. So political parties, when we first introduced this system, they were not prepared for put the qualified ones. The intent outcome is to put some qualified women in the places in the local authority where the gap in the rural community and the local authorities are very small. So, but the political parties only just put the candidates, unskilled candidates maybe, as proxy candidates, to fulfill the nomination list. So unfortunately, when considering the political parties in Sri Lanka, we have to say that we have concern regarding the women's female representation on their parties. And then considering the panchayat system in India, it was, as you mentioned, the first time, like Sri Lanka, when it's introduced, they have the proxy candidates, because the persons may be husband and maybe their fathers who cannot go to the councils, they put their wives, their sisters, and their daughters in the councils. So the proxy candidates are there. But with the time, we can see that this proxy candidate, they have make some identities. Although firstly they control, but they can make their own image. So with their experience, the skills, they know the proceedings and other things. So they get experience and they have the backing of their peoples, the community. Community see them as leaders. So they emerge from the community as leaders. So because of now, so they don't want the quota system to contest and be elected. So now they have very strong situation. So maybe we just hope in Sri Lanka one day, the women, females, they have now skills, they will emerge as leaders without helping in this quota system. Thank you, madam.
Okay. That's a long discussion. Anyway, so please consider this one also. When Mrs. Bandanayake came to politics, she knew nothing. She was a newcomer to politics, but she became the strongest woman in the country. So this present days women are not, that weak. They are very strong. So we let hope for the good. Okay, that bring us to the conclusion of the second session also. This first and second sessions were basically looking at a few aspects, I would say, gender equality and transparency and accountability processes, and then of course the technological aspect of electoral process, etc., etc. So for me, this particular symposium of this mammoth nature would be impossible unless you have a meticulous planning and structure. So that purpose, I think I should first congratulate the Election Commission to have this kind of a mammoth kind of a symposium with 146 abstracts. Reviewing the 146 abstracts is not an easy task. It's an enormous task. I can understand that. And this 146 abstracts, if we can develop as papers and research articles, this is going to be a wealth of new knowledge. So congratulations, Election Commission, for this initiative. And thank you so much for allowing me being part of that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. M. Ganesamurthy. And that concludes the research paper presentation segment 2's activities. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to open up applications for the research paper presenters. To present the token of appreciation, we welcome on stage Professor Lakshman Disanayake, member of the Election Commission of Sri Lanka. Please, sir. And Mr. Arosana Kamlat, Chief Accountant of the Election Commission. Ms. Aruni Damayanti, Director, ICT. Please be on stage to give away the token of appreciation for the research paper presenters. Research Symposium 2025, organized by Election Commission of Sri Lanka. The first paper presenter today, Amir Faiz, Attorney at Law, Independent Professional, Election Commission of Up next, we call upon Soumya Sandeep Samarasinghe, the undergraduate of General Sir John Kotharaula Defence University. Next we call upon Jayapati Ansalage Tikiri Kumar Jayavardhana, Development Officer, Election Commission. Jayasundarapati Ansalage Tikiri Kumar Jayavardhana, Development Officer, Election Commission. And the next recipient, Kanagaratnam Thavalingam, Chairman, Delimitation Commission. And the fifth recipient, Badhanabudi Ansalagi, Indunil Sanjeeva Lasanta Bandara, Assistant Commissioner of Election, Admin. And we extend our thanks to Professor Lakshman Disanayaka, Sarosana Gamlat, and Ms. Arunit Damayantha. Ladies and gentlemen, up next, we are here to give away the token of appreciation to our session chair today. To give away the presentation, we call upon as Achudan, the Additional Commissioner of Elections, Admin. To assist him, Mr. Channa P. D. Silva, Director Planning. Please be on stage. The session chair today, Dr. M. Ganeshamurthy. Who is the lecturer of University of Colombo. Thank you very much. We extend our thanks to his Achudan Additional Commissioner and Channa P. De Silva, Director of Planning. It is the well-known fact so far, by being in the auditorium, we learned more than 150 research papers were submitted. And for those authors, we are here to give away certificates. And we call upon to give away the first 10 certificates. Mr. R.M.A.L. Ratnayaka, Chairman of Election Commission, stage. To assist him, Mr. R. Vikramasinghe, Deputy Commissioner of Elections. Authors are there to walk away with certificates. The first author is A.M. Weiss. And we call upon Dr. K. Thinga. Dr. K. Thavalinga. And the next author, Muhammad Ibrahim Ahmed. Muhammad Ibrahim Ahmed. Next on stage, Dr. Anila Dias Bandaranaike. Dr. Anila Dias Bandaranaike. And we call upon Professor V.S. Surya Bandara, Pulasti Patirana. Next, Dr. Susil Manchanaik. That was the first 10 recipients. We extend our thanks to Mr. R.M.A.L. Ratnaika, Chairman of Election Commission, and Mr. R. Vikramasinghe, Deputy Commissioner of Election, who assisted by giving away the token of appreciation and certificates. Ladies and gentlemen, to give away the next set of certificates, we call upon on stage Mr. MAPC Pereira, Member of Election Commission. To assist, Mr. K. Jayavira, Deputy Commissioner of Elections. The next recipient will be Suranga Rana Singha. Suranga Rana Singha. Mr. W.A. Ranjan Nishanta. Mr. M.R. Khalana Gayantha. Mr. P.R.M.N.D. Pallepola. Mr. Danish Suhur. Mr. S.S.D. Soitza. A.D. Fumi Article. Miss Saujanya Satyasila to receive the certificates. Miss Vijay Kumar Pishanti. Next on stage, Mr. Arul Kumaran Mahalingam. Next, Ms. Jivaraja Dilakshana. Mr. Douglas Miss Kushantini Mailbagana. Ms. S. Fatima Sharfet. Mr. Gardigan Kumarasamy. Mr. Sandhirarasan Sanuja. Ms. Sajini Kavindya Karyabasan. Mr. Nuwan I. Senaratna. Mr. S. Silojan. Miss K. Diviga. Miss Rivka Pavin MT. Mr. A. Ibagraj. Miss B. M. Pramisha Dami Dasanaika. Miss Saranya Balakumar. Mr. Achinta Tenakor. Miss R.S. Sarachandra. And we extend our thanks to those personalities who really gave away the certificates for those recipients. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, to give away the next set of certificates, we call upon on stage Dr. Deepika Udugama, Professor Lakshman Disanaika, and Dr. Deepika Udugama, please be on stage. And to assist them, R. Sasilan, Deputy Commissioner of Elections, please be on stage. The next recipient on stage, Ms. K.A.I.M. Kandapola Arachi. Mr. Srigan. Mr. Saumya Sandeepa Samar Singh. Ms. Charuka Perez. Ms. Charuka Perez. Miss Pritika Jayadaran. Mr. N.M. Hassan. Miss K. Subhani Harshani. Mr. Jayavardhana T.K. T.K. Mr. R.K.H. Deerasinghe de Souza. And we too present a token of appreciation as well to Mr. Tigiri. Wow. Up next on stage, Miss Paramanathan Sivagauri. And we extend our thanks to the personalities who gave away the certificates for those recipients. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sirs. To give away the certificates for next recipients, we call upon Mr. Saman Sri Ratnayaka, Commissioner General of Elections. To assist him, Mr. K.A.D. Nishant, Accountant, Procurement, Election Commission. The next recipient will be Miss Dasanaik DRSD. Next on stage, Miss Vidusha S. Mr. Badana Budyansalage Indunil Sanjeeva Lasanta Bandar. Miss Shashikala P.S. Miss S.A. Iresha Madhuvanti. Miss R.P.M. Ekanayaka. Mr. Pereira M.R.S. Miss Natalia Habutantri. Ms. RMPD Ratnayaka. Ms. JANP Hansani Apuhami. And we extend our thanks to Mr. Samansri Ratnayaka, the Commissioner General of Elections, and who assisted Mr. K.A.D. Nishant, Accountant Procurement Election Commission. Thank you, sirs. Up next to give away the next set of certificates, we call upon Mr. H.M.T.D. Herat, Secretary of Election Commission. To assist him, Mr. N.P.P.I.R. Gunaratna, Assistant Commissioner of Elections. And we call upon V.D.J. Lakmal, Assistant Commissioner of Elections as well. The next recipient will be Ms. Janani Hansika Perez. Ms. Dasanayaka DRSD. Ms. Dasanayaka DRSD. Ms. Vidusha S. Miss J.D. Madhushika Jayampat. Mr. Sudharan Perambala. Miss Abhilashini Vanyaraja. Miss Saumi Sadupama Vidapati. Miss Nipuni Disanayaka. Mr. Dilshika Di Costa Dasanayaka. Miss Anita Vijay Kumar. Mr. Tarindu Piumal Herat.